In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing my Playchoice 10 arcade and two devices that I've combined to make the ultimate Playchoice arcade, so stay tuned. So if you saw my recent video on an Addams Family pinball machine pickup, in that video you heard me allude to also acquiring an arcade machine. Well, this was the arcade machine I picked up. Got them in a bundle deal, same seller, same place, same story. These machines were sitting in Grandma and Grandpa's basement for over 20 some odd years. Only played it around the holidays when the kids came over, things like that. And very evident with the condition of this machine. Addams Family, you know, hadn't really been touched in a while and needed some love and tenderness. This one didn't need a whole heck of a lot, honestly. There was a few cosmetic things I did, just kind of quality of life. I replaced the T-molding. The original T-molding wasn't in terrible shape by any means, but it was starting to get old and brittle because it was over 30 years old, so put brand new white T-molding on it. The original control panel overlay had a couple of cuts and slices, not too terrible. If you're OCD like me, I chose to replace it. For other people, it probably would have been something that you could live with, but I chose to go ahead and replace it because the rest of this machine is literally spotless. I mean, I was blown away with the overall condition. Corners, cabinet itself, no signs of damage, bloating, water, or anything like that. This thing is flawless. Has the original side art. You can always tell because it has the die cut holes for the monitor bolts, whereas, you know, replacement side art won't, and you'll see the monitor bolts pierce through. Not a big deal or anything, but that was a key takeaway for me. I was like, oh my gosh, the original side art hasn't even been scuffed or scratched or anything like that. Both monitors working great. Didn't really have to do anything, kind of just a little picture settings here and there just to kind of optimize them to the best of my personal preferences. But other than that, they're working great. One of the coolest things about this whole deal was this came with 27 games. That's right, 27 Playchoice games were bundled in with the pinball machine and the arcade machine. So naturally you can see why I jumped at the chance to buy these machines as quick as I possibly could. If you're not aware, there's only about 50 plus games available on Playchoice. So to have 27 of them, over half the entire library, in one solid, you know, just complete acquisition, I mean, who's gonna say no to that? And not only that, it came with the two toppers as well. We had one for Double Dribble and Castlevania, one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Now, as awesome as it was to pick up the machine with 27 different games, it's still not the most, you know, accessible thing to go ahead and crack open the machine, pull it away from the wall, and install a different cartridge every single time I want to play more than the 10 games I have loaded on there. So instead, I'm going to install the NES Game Link adapter, which allows me to play standard, you know, NES cartridges, which is really cool if you have a wide collection of NES carts. Play those on the arcade game, but I'm also going to install the NES Powerpak, which is essentially an FPGA emulation flash cart that essentially replaces this, goes in there, and allows me to play literally any NES game I want. The arcade variations, the versus titles, you name it, all can be played on here with the standard controls, including the gun. So yeah, this is basically going to be the ultimate arcade machine for Nintendo games. And I'll show you how simple it is to install those two devices right now. So to install the Game Link, first things first is we just gotta unhook a couple of connections. This one right here. There we go. And we're gonna pull out these little pull tabs and release the PCB from its cage here. And it slowly, easily just kind of slides out. There we have it. Here's the PCB. You got your game boards up here. You got 10 different slots, Playchoice 10, of course, aptly named. You can put the Game Link on any of these slots, doesn't really matter. You can use it with existing Playchoice games or without them, doesn't really matter. It's very easy to use. All right, got the PCB, nice soft towel underneath it. That way we're not, you know, messing anything up underneath. Games are very easy to remove. They just kind of pop up. These longer ones are even easier because you've got a handle, but just pop up, connected with the pins, pull it out. And here we have the NES Game Link adapter. Looks very similar in form factor to the actual Playchoice 10 game cartridges, but it just pops on there, easy peasy. And then, as you can see right here, it says insert cartridge with label facing up. We're literally gonna take an NES cartridge, classic Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. We just plug it in there, and then voila. I can play both Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, including using the gun, the built-in Playchoice arcade gun with Duck Hunt. It works flawlessly. This works for all the NES games, any of them that you have in your collection. It's a super quick way to, add any games that didn't come on the Playchoice and, expand your library. One cool thing about it though, is that we're gonna be adding this. This is the Powerpak. This is a compact flash SD card. Made to look like an NES cartridge, but I've got literally every NES game ROM on here. Put it in there. We're going to insert it in our NES game link. And now I will be able to play literally every NES game on my Playchoice. You name it, this will play it. Every single Zapper game. There's not a whole lot of them, but the fact that there's only 2 available stock from the Playchoice library, I love that I now have literally the entire NES library, and this does still work in conjunction with your older games, but technically these are now, unnecessary. I don't really need to use them. There are some quirks on this, and I'll show you when we get it installed. So now the game link is installed. You can see it comes up as NES game link. Said I've got other cartridges in here just to kind of show you the difference. So we'll go ahead and start Trojan real quick. So typically, Playchoice, you got the secondary screen up top that basically just gives you basic instructions on how to play whatever game you've selected. Normally, if you try to put in some sort of multi-cart into the Playchoice system, you're gonna lose complete view of that secondary screen up top. Go ahead and hit reset, go back to our menu, but not the case with the game link. So we'll go ahead and select it. Pulls up my Powerpak. This is a very rudimentary operating system. It's very straightforward, but there you go. You have a NES Game Link screen up top. You can customize this. You can pay a little extra and have custom text on there where it said, like, welcome to Jim Bob's Arcade or something like that. I didn't go for that. But the Powerpak, like I said, got all the NES game ROMs, arcade ROMs, all my favorites on there, loaded up. Very simple to use. We're just gonna hit A, brings up my little category. And we got games and saves, because it does save your game as well. One quirk about this is it's not in alphabetical order. It doesn't matter how many times you turn off the machine or whatever, it's always in a random order as far as the letters, but I put subfolders in my SD card so it's very easy to navigate, so I can just, randomly pick a letter and go into that and find games. I've also put all my shooting games underneath the category for the numbers, just because there's very few games that start with a number, and it's just easier to select them that way. So we'll go ahead and put Wild Gunman. Said you can also enter Game Genie codes before you start the game, which is very cool. And there you go, both screens. Now it doesn't do custom Playchoice 10 specific instructions for the games like a standard cartridge will, but it is nice to still have both screens functioning. And like I said, now that we've got this, go ahead and hit start. Pull out the zapper, and we can get to zapping. Assuming I can hit something while I'm holding the camera. It's gonna be tricky. Got him. How cool is that? I can pause and save games. I can, reset back to start, go back and choose different games. When it's all said and done, I just got to give this machine a giant hug, because this is literally my childhood in a nutshell with these Nintendo games, and being able to play them in an arcade form factor on this immaculately just well-preserved machine. I can't ask for much, if anything more, from it. It just looks great, it plays great, and quite frankly, I'm going to spend hours and hours and hours playing these games. So guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful, and as always, thanks for watching guys. It really means a lot.